Kashmir, a land of breathtaking beauty, has long been a focal point of tension and conflict in South Asia. Nestled amidst the Himalayas, its strategic importance and cultural significance have made it a prize coveted by both India and Pakistan since the partition of British India in 1947. The dispute over Kashmir has led to numerous wars, countless skirmishes, and a pervasive atmosphere of mistrust between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. The recent attack in Pahalgam, Kashmir, on April 22, 2025, has once again brought the region to the brink of a wider conflict. Gunmen, believed to be affiliated with the Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba, stormed a local market, killing 26 innocent civilians and injuring dozens more. This heinous act of terrorism has ignited outrage and grief across India, with demands for swift and decisive action against those responsible. The attack has also raised serious concerns about the potential for escalation between India and Pakistan. Both countries have fought 3 major wars over Kashmir, and the line of control that divides the region remains heavily militarized. The risk of miscalculation or an unintended escalation is high, particularly given the backdrop of heightened tensions and the presence of nuclear weapons on both sides. As the international community grapples with the implications of this latest attack, it is crucial to understand the historical context, the current geopolitical realities, and the potential ramifications of India's response. The fate of Kashmir, and indeed the peace and stability of South Asia, hang in the balance. The roots of the Kashmir conflict can be traced back to the tumultuous events of 1947, when British India was partitioned into 2 independent nations, India and Pakistan. The partition, based largely on religious lines, led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history, accompanied by widespread violence and bloodshed. Amidst this chaos, the fate of Kashmir, a Muslim-majority princely state ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, remained unresolved. The Maharaja's initial indecision on whether to join India or Pakistan led to the First Indo-Pakistani War of 1947–48. The war ended with a United Nations brokered ceasefire and the division of Kashmir along the line of control. However, the fundamental issue of Kashmir's final status remained unresolved, laying the groundwork for future conflicts. The Second Indo-Pakistani War erupted in 1965, once again over Kashmir. While the war ended in a stalemate, it further deepened the mistrust and animosity between the two countries. The 1971 war, which resulted in the creation of Bangladesh, also saw fighting in Kashmir, although it was not the primary theatre of conflict. In 1999, the Kargil conflict brought India and Pakistan perilously close to another full-blown war. The conflict, triggered by Pakistan's infiltration of Indian-controlled territory in the Kargil sector, highlighted the volatile nature of the line of control and the ever-present risk of escalation. The 2008 Mumbai attacks, carried out by Pakistan-based militants, marked a turning point in India-Pakistan relations. The attacks, which killed over 160 people, including foreign nationals, led to a sharp deterioration in bilateral ties and a suspension of the already fragile peace process. The Pulwama attack of 2019, in which a suicide bomber killed 40 Indian security personnel, triggered a series of retaliatory airstrikes by India and Pakistan. The incident brought the two countries closer to war than at any point in decades, underscoring the fragility of peace in the region. The current state of relations between India and Pakistan can be best described as one of deep mistrust and hostility. The long history of conflict over Kashmir, coupled with the persistent issue of cross-border terrorism, has created a climate of suspicion and animosity that has made any meaningful dialogue or cooperation extremely difficult. The 2019 Pulwama attack and its aftermath led to a complete breakdown of bilateral relations. India withdrew Pakistan's most favored nation trading status, expelled the Pakistani ambassador, and launched a diplomatic offensive to isolate Pakistan internationally. Pakistan in turn downgraded diplomatic ties with India and suspended bilateral trade. The situation further deteriorated in August 2019 when India revoked Article 370 of its constitution, which granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The move, which was met with widespread protests in Kashmir and condemnation from Pakistan, further exacerbated tensions between the two countries. Since then, there has been little progress in resuming dialogue or normalizing relations. Both sides remain locked in a cycle of accusations and counter-accusations, with no clear path towards a resolution of the Kashmir issue or a de-escalation of tensions. The recent attack in Pahalgam has further aggravated the situation, pushing the two nuclear-armed neighbors closer to the brink. The incident has sparked widespread outrage in India and calls for a strong response against Pakistan, whom India accuses of harboring and supporting terrorist groups operating in Kashmir. The attack has also put a spotlight on the volatile situation along the line of control, where ceasefire violations and cross-border firings have become increasingly common. The risk of an accidental escalation or a miscalculation that could spiral into a wider conflict remains high. Section 4. The Might of India, Military Capabilities and Potential Responses. India possesses a large, well-equipped and technologically advanced military capable of projecting power and conducting operations across a wide spectrum of conflict. With over 1.4 million active personnel, a robust defense industrial base, and a growing nuclear arsenal, India has emerged as a formidable military power in the region. In response to the recent attack in Kashmir, India will likely consider a range of military options, calibrated to achieve specific strategic objectives while minimizing the risk of escalation. One potential course of action is the conduct of surgical strikes against terrorist camps and infrastructure located across the line of control in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. India has carried out such strikes in the past, most notably in 2016 and 2019, with the aim of degrading the capabilities of terrorist groups and deterring future attacks. Another option is to intensify counterinsurgency operations in Kashmir, deploying additional troops, enhancing intelligence gathering, and conducting targeted operations against militant groups. India could also bolster its defenses along the line of control, increasing troop deployments, strengthening border fortifications, and deploying advanced surveillance and reconnaissance systems to detect and deter infiltration attempts. Beyond these kinetic options, India might also explore the use of cyber warfare capabilities to disrupt terrorist networks, target their financing and logistics, and counter their propaganda and recruitment efforts. Section 5. Diplomacy in Action, India's Strategic Engagement on the World Stage. India's response to the recent attack in Kashmir will not be confined to the military realm. Diplomacy will play a crucial role as India seeks to build international pressure on Pakistan, garner support for its stance, and explore avenues for a peaceful resolution of the conflict. One of India's primary diplomatic objectives will be to isolate Pakistan diplomatically and expose its alleged support for terrorist groups operating in Kashmir. India will likely engage with key international partners, including the United States, European Union, and other like-minded countries, to share evidence of Pakistan's involvement and urge them to take a tougher stance against Islamabad. India might also consider leveraging its membership in multilateral forums such as the United Nations Security Council to raise the issue of cross-border terrorism and push for sanctions or other punitive measures against Pakistan. However, such efforts are likely to be met with resistance from China, Pakistan's close ally, which has traditionally blocked India's attempts to internationalize the Kashmir issue. Beyond isolating Pakistan, India will also seek to strengthen its strategic partnerships with countries that share its concerns about terrorism and regional stability. This could involve deepening defense cooperation with countries like the United States, France, and Israel, conducting joint military exercises, and enhancing intelligence sharing to counter transnational terrorist networks.